Alright, let's just air this all out. There's always this one person that you really hate for one reason or another. The same is true in the animal kingdom. There are just some animals who can't stand the sight of another animal. Today, you're going to learn about animal rivalries that you probably never even heard of. Number 1 is the Battle of the Big Boys, so make sure you stay tuned for that. With that said, here are 10 animals that hate each other. Technically 20 because each entry comes in pairs, but semantics. On with the video. Let's begin, shall we? Number 10. Sperm whales and giant squids. Let's start this video off big, and just how big are we talking? Well, with 2 of the largest animals in the world that absolutely hate each other. Sperm whales range from 49 to 59 feet and can dive as deep as 3,280 feet. And that's probably where they find their mortal enemy and also delicious prey, the giant squid. If you're somehow living under a rock and don't know what a giant squid is, they are deep-sea creatures that can be the real versions of the mighty mythological kraken. The biggest of these creatures that was ever found measured 59 feet. Fights between these 2 behemoths can be epic. Unfortunately, the fights between those giants happen at such deepness that it's never been caught on tape. How do we know that these events even occur though? Well, it's common to find sperm whales with scars that match the giant squid's tentacles, as well as indigestible squid body parts in its stomach. The sperm whale dives searching for food and engage in a life-and-death contest with the giant squids, and it's not that impossible to imagine an outcome that is much favorable for the whales. Number 9. Lions and hyenas. If you watch the Lion King movies, and at this point who hasn't really, then certainly you remember the rivalry between the lions and the hyenas. They were terrified of Mufasa, but used to chase little Simba. Lions are much stronger than hyenas, so you would consider it a very one-sided contest, but in reality, the outcome isn't always the same every time. Hyenas and lions have competed for the same prey and resources since the beginning of their history. When 2 species of animal fight for the same food, tensions between them increase, dictated by deeply ingrained survival instincts. As we have said, lions are much stronger, but the hyena population is much larger. And it's this difference in numbers that can dictate the outcome of an encounter between these 2 enemies. In short, when a clan of hyenas face a pride of lions, nobody can tell for sure what's about to happen. Number 8. Honeybees and Asian giant hornets. Giant Asian hornets, like their name suggests, are huge 2-inch hornets that can fly up to 15 miles per hour. They have a particular liking for honeybee larvae, which they feed to their young, and that is the premise of their long-standing rivalry with honeybees. Asian giant hornets invade honeybees' hives searching for the larvae while destroying everything in the process. They come equipped with large mandibles which they use to decapitate bees, and these guys are so efficient at dispatching bees that a single hornet can take down 20 bees in a minute. At this point, you're probably thinking that the bees can't do anything to fight back. Well, the truth is, they have developed an incredible defense against these invaders. When a hornet finds a hive, the bees do not try to stop it. Instead, they let it in and fall right into their trap. They surround the hornet, forming a bee ball, and start to vibrate, heating up the hornet until it is literally cooked alive. This is one of the most spectacular defense mechanisms in nature, and also pretty terrifying too. Number 7. Cobras and mongooses. Proper polarization aside, you probably think that no animal would be crazy enough to go toe-to-toe, or in this case, paw to fang, with a venomous snake, right? Well, the mongoose is here to prove us wrong. This fearless animal regularly dukes it out with cobras, and more often than not, can come out on top. Mongooses are found mostly in Africa. Depending on the species, they range in size from as small as 7 inches and as large as 2 feet. They eat almost anything. Birds, small rodents, frogs, reptiles, insects, as well as fruits, nuts, and seeds. These mammals live in areas where cobras also call home, so encounters between the 2 animals are inevitable. However, the mongoose is biologically equipped to go face-to-face with their venomous foes. Mongooses have specialized acetylcholine receptors that make them resistant or even immune to snake venom. This characteristic gives the mongoose an advantage over its adversary and explains why mongooses can kill cobras. Number 6. White sharks and killer whales. Most people believe that the great white shark dominates the seas without having to worry about other animals, and that belief is not at all unfounded. I mean, who would dare to face such a terrible beast, am I right? Well, the ocean's actually full of surprises, and most of all, full of terrible, giant creatures. And one of those giant creatures just happens to be the one that the great white shark fears the most, the killer whale. Killer whales, also known as orcas, can weigh up to 12,300 pounds and reach 31 feet, while the great white shark usually weighs up to 2,200 pounds and reach about 16 feet. Now, how would a fight between these two behemoths end up? Actually, we have an answer to that. Observers in Farallon Islands witnessed a real encounter between these two sea giants. According to them, the orca went out of its way and changed its course in order to attack the great white. The orca ran the shark on the flank, leaving it very confused, then took it from behind, turning it upside down and eventually drowning it. They do this because orcas love eating the nutritious shark liver. This only goes to show that even the mightiest of predators can also fall prey to someone even more powerful, and also that killer whales are metal. Number 5. Ants and termites. It's hard to root for termites, especially if you're on the receiving end of the destruction that they can bring, especially to your house. But in this battle of the insects, you can't help but feel for them, because this is probably the most one-sided rivalry in the entire animal kingdom. Termites spend years building their mounds. These mounds can reach over 17 feet tall and contain millions of these tiny insects. Sometimes it takes them 5 long years to build such a mound, only to get invaded by their mortal enemies. Yes, that's right, the ants. Termites are to ants as bees are to hornets, an excellent food source. Ants will invade termite mounds and decimate its occupants. To add insult to injury, ants then take over ownership of the mound the termites spent years to build. Termites don't stand much of a chance against the ant army, and their only possibility is trying to avoid the ants from entering the mound. Termites will usually lose this war, but sometimes they manage to seal off some of the nests and protect some of the colony. Number 4. Polar bears and walruses. Polar bears are giant beasts from the Arctic. An adult can reach 8 feet and weigh up to 1,600 pounds. They're actually in contention for being the largest of all bears, with the grizzly bear being another contender. Polar bears usually hunt seals, but when food is scarce, they sometimes aim for something bigger. A lot bigger. That is why walruses hate polar bears. A walrus is a very dangerous prey for polar bears. It ranges from 7.25 to 11.5 feet and can weigh up to 1.5 tons. That is twice as heavy as a polar bear. They also have 2 3-feet long tusks that can be used as powerful weapons. When a polar bear tries to attack a walrus, it's basically a toss-up. The bear is stronger and a natural predator, but walruses don't have to come to fight unarmed. Their long and sharp tusks are enough to penetrate the bear's skin. In fact, there are many cases of polar bears found dead or severely wounded by walrus tusks. Polar bears would generally stay away from walruses, but they will take their chances when extremely hungry. Most of the times they will be successful, but sometimes, well, they sustain serious and even fatal damage. Number 3. Pythons and alligators. Burmese pythons originally came from Southwest Asia, but they were somehow introduced to the Everglades National Park, where they coexist with American alligators. Believe me though, this isn't a peaceful coexistence. Male American alligators reach, on average, 11.2 feet and can weigh up to 1,000 pounds and also pack an armor made of bony plates. Burmese pythons, on the other hand, range from 16 to 23 feet and weigh up to 200 pounds. They kill their prey by constriction, squeezing until it suffocates. They're also great swimmers, being able to stay underwater for over 30 minutes. American alligators and Burmese pythons will not usually go out of their way to antagonize one another, but when they do come across each other, all hell breaks loose. There is something unusual about this animosity though, is that either one can be prey for the other. The only difference is that the gator will eat piece by piece and the python's going to swallow its meal whole. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's best pick is a rivalry that plays out in sub-Saharan Africa and involves 2 of the most aggressive and unpredictable animals in the world. Number 2. Crocodiles and hippos. The herbivorous mammals weigh between 1.5 and 4 tons, and they can grow up to 14 feet long. Nicknamed river horses by ancient Greeks, the animals spend up to 16 hours each day lumbering along the bottoms of rivers and lakes in sub-Saharan Africa, with only their eyes and nostrils bobbing above the surf. Although they primarily feed on plants, in fact munching on about 80 pounds of grass each day, hippos are one of the most aggressive animals on Earth. They can snap a canoe in half with their powerful jaws, and they kill about 500 people in Africa each year. Living alongside them are crocodiles, one of the fiercest predators in the world. Although they try to stay away from hippos, they can't resist having a bite if they see a juicy morsel swim by, kinda like a baby hippo. Of course, this makes Mama Hippo very mad, and given how aggressive these animals are, it usually ends up bad for the croc. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. Elephants and rhinos. Ranging from 8.2 to 13 feet, African elephants are the biggest land animals on the planet. They can weigh up to 14,000 pounds and eat 300 pounds of food in a single day. Rhinoceroses are smaller but still big. They range from 4.5 to 6 feet and can weigh up to 3,000 pounds. These two African giants compete for the same space, so an encounter between them is not uncommon. Elephants are usually peaceful creatures, but a must period can easily change that. During must period, elephants become extremely aggressive and will probably attack anything that crosses its path, including rhinos. Elephants can easily take down rhinos, crushing them with their tremendous weight. In February of 2000, a young group of orphaned elephants at an African park was reported to have actively hunted down and killed 36 rhinos. In this case, elephants developed an extremely aggressive behavior, and this may have happened because of the lack of adult supervision. Know of any other animals that can't stand one another? Let us know in the comment section down below. Also, check out some of our other amazing videos. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody.